Welcome back to the Star Wars Newsnet Timeline Show, episode 15, baby. We are
Getting there.
cranking. And Brian, we are talking about Young Jedi Adventures
We are.
shorts. Technically, the first episode is before the shorts in the timeline, but we felt like the shorts being kind of these, 6 really quick things, and it honestly serves as a major just little introduction to the characters. I think
Gives
we
them
made a
each
good
like
decision.
a spotlight moment. Yeah.
Yes, and we agreed that let's just open up with the shorts. It's a little bit out of the timeline because it's like episode 1, the shorts, and then episode 2 of the series. But let's just do this. That way we can go straight into the series. And how does it feel? We're talking about we love books, we love comics, but we're in phase 1. But we're talking about something other than a book, comic, like a manga, short story. We're talking about something you can watch and look at, and it's a nice little break. I think
It is.
Sometimes to be able to do something different. Now we have 6 shorts that we're going to break down really quickly, and the first one, Ryan, if you want to flip that one up there for those watching on YouTube, is Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures short 1, Meet the Young Jedi. Hence why we decided to just do this episode and begin with Meet the Young Jedi, because we're getting to know them. We are introduced to Kai Brightstar. You see the young Jedi with his green training saber at the front. On his right, our left, you have Liz, who I guess is one of those characters without a last name. She's just Liz. I love Liz.
Like Madonna.
Yes. Love Liz. She's adorable. She's so cute. And then on Kai's left, our right, you see Nubs, who I guess in some people's eyes rivals Baby Yoda. Grogu is the cutest in the Star Wars galaxy. Obviously, you see Yoda back there, and then their friend Nash and her droid RJ are sitting back there, and just a lovely little, series for the little toddlers out there, the little, little ones that are just opening their eyes to a galaxy far, far away. This is obviously on Disney Plus. It's taking place in phase 1 of the High Republic. We made it, everyone, in the year 232 BBY, March 27th, 2023 is when this came out. We have jumped 150 years into the future from phase 2, and short 1 basically is what kind of does a little brief, intro to all the little characters. And I thought, they're training with their, training sabers. They can't slice through things necessarily or, cause damage. A real lightsaber can. But, they'll give you a little shock here. And they're training with this droid who has like these like vibro staffs that he comes out like multiple arms. And Kai just launches it to like the top level. I feel like Kai, every time I'm playing like a video game and it's like, do you want to do the tutorial? I'm like, no, I'm straight in. And then suddenly who does the tutorial? Like, why would anyone do the tutorial? That's Kai. He's like, I'm not doing these practice lessons. I'm not starting on phase 1. I'm going straight to phase 10. Crank it to 100. We're locked and loaded here, and they get their butts whipped by this droid for a bit. It just reminded me of how I'm playing a video game and I just fall off the ledge because I didn't, read the tutorial on how to do like a double jump or something.
Right.
What were your thoughts? Just a little bit on the brief introduction to these 3, Jedi younglings, basically.
I thought it was a good introduction. Remember, this series is, aimed towards a very young demographic, 4 or 5 years old. It's very much in the same vein as like Spidey's Friends, like Spidey and His Friends kind of series. Okay. It's very much like that, but Star Wars. But at the same time, it does have a little bit of it's maybe a grade above that, just a hair, a bit of a grade above that. No, I thought it was a good introduction to all the characters. You can tell that Kai is going to end up being the kind of I don't want to say the firecracker, but the leap first, look later kind of Jedi.
And he's the leader of the group. Like
He's basically
leader.
The Harry Potter of Harry, Ron, and Hermione is basically what he is.
Nubs is way cuter than Ron ever could have hoped to be.
Nubs is really cool. I don't think we know what species he is yet.
I think we in the show or like just in general?
In the show, what species is Nubs?
No, I mean like I thought they'd say what species he's. I don't think in the show. Oh,
I
okay,
don't think
maybe
they
they do.
do.
I
Maybe
thought
they
they
did. Maybe
did.
I missed it. Maybe I missed it. But
I love how
it,
he talks. It's just like,
yeah,
and then our introduction to him is like Nubs knows all about like he's the strongest youngling I know, and like a giant boulder just falls and he just carries it off like
catches
it's
it.
nothing. I'm
Yeah,
like, you're like 2 years old, dude, and you're just drumming with this thing.
right,
And then
right.
our introduction to Liz is that she knows she's the best with
Creatures.
creatures, and we
Yeah,
see her like play with this little like bird type thing that's flying around,
yeah,
and so basically they're learning a lot each episode, it's like for kids, so like we're learning like a very a simple lesson that everyone needs to know, and it kind of screams that lesson to you, like
right.
it's not like obviously like a adult form of media where the lesson is you have to have some form of media literacy as you're watching this to decipher what the meaning is. No, it tells you, flat out tells you. And this one was more about you have to take your baby steps and work
Yeah,
together to solve it. And Yoda ends up sending them on a mission. At the end, we meet Nash, Durango, and RJ, their best friend, who's like a
yeah,
pilot in the Outer Rim. But that droid, this is pretty funny. It goes like full General Grievous on them. Do you remember
yeah,
when it has all of like four of its blades and it starts
yeah.
and it's like it goes full General Grievous, but they use the force to like stop the
Stop the
blades.
arms. Yeah,
It kind of reminded me of like the Inquisitors when the like Vader or like the others will like stop the blades from
the
spinning like
spinning
around and
blades.
around with the
Yeah,
spinning blades. I thought
yeah.
that was like a pretty cool little just a
Little
fun, it
nod.
was a fun little intro. It's like it felt like
Yeah,
General Grievous just kind of I was like,
yeah.
oh, I have been trained in your Jedi arts by my droid programming.
He's got
um,
smoker's lung.
so let's go ahead and jump to short number 2, if you want to put
Short
that
number
one on the
2.
screen.
Yeah.
This one, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures Short 2. This is Creature Caper, also found on Disney Plus, of course. All of these are found there. They were all dropped on the same day, March 27, 2023, and they all take place in the same year, 232 BBY. This one is we get a little taste of a Liss's creature capabilities,
Yeah.
but we get a very cute moment with a Tuca cat or a
Yeah.
Tuca kitten, and I must say, the cats and the cat creatures in Star Wars seem to be far cuter than the dog creatures, I feel
Yeah.
like, in Star
Yeah.
Wars. And I got to talk to someone who's in charge of this because I'm offended as a dog lover. Like, can we get some cute dogs in here? The cutest dog we have is Batcher from the Bad Batch.
What about
And
Ketcha?
who's Ketcha?
Ketcha is the dog, isn't it?
From
Bad
this
Batch.
from Bad Batch. No, that's Batcher.
I thought it was Ketcha.
No, it's Batcher.
Oh, okay. I didn't
That's
know
what I'm
that.
saying.
I
Like,
always thought
Batcher's
she
the
was
dog.
saying Ketcha. I'm half deaf in one
Batcha.
ear, man.
It's
I'm
Batcha.
half deaf in this ear. All I
It's
hear is
Batcha.
dee from when I was in Iraq. So that's all I can hear.
It's Batcha.
Batcha.
You
Okay.
can't leave without Batcha.
Gotcha. Okay. My bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like Batcher's cute, but like in an
Yeah.
ugly sort of way. You know what I mean? Like there's like
Kind
those
of like your
dogs
baby's
out there.
cute, even though it looks like a potato kind of
Yes,
thing.
but it's like there's so
yeah.
many dogs out there. Like this is like such a cute dog, but like, is it like actually cute? No, it's cute because it's so like ugly that it's
Right.
cute. That's what's happened here. And so the Tuca cat is on the loose, and it's genuinely cute. And the message in this one is that a Jedi is always here to help because the cat gets loose and Liz goes running. She's like running on tables and flipping
Kicking
over
plates and
kicking plates, and I was just like thinking to myself, oh Liz, what did you think of just her running on the table like she's flipping?
It just throwing all reserve to the wind. It's something that a kid their age would do, Jedi or not. Just because the cat ran across the table doesn't mean you have to get up on the table and run after it also. Knocks Nubs' plate. Nubs is sitting at the table, knocks his plate all over himself, and he's and he just licks all the food off his face. Very Scooby-Doo-ish. But no, I thought it was right in the line of like, a naive kid that's just
Right.
eyes on the mission, tunnel vision, like this. I'm after that cat. Like that's what I'm after. Forget everything else.
And so this isn't the same situation at all, but we have very few like cafeteria food scenes in Star Wars. So I
Yeah.
guess when I was initially watching this, it reminded me of Omega's first time hanging out with her brothers, and someone says something mean to him. So Omega just takes her like bowl of soup and just launches it at the clones back of their head. And then there's a food fight in the cafeteria. And obviously, not even close to the same situation here, but very, very, very opposite.
Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
it just made me remember that for whatever reason. But the story here was, that a Jedi is always happy to help, and Liz just jumps right in, and she's ready to go, and it's just a cute little story.
Yeah.
Anything else for number two? You want to move on to
No,
number four?
these are pretty much cut and dry. I mean, they're
It's cut and
pretty
dry, and these shorts are, if you watch them, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's with the credits. They're like 3.5 minutes, really.
Yeah.
Like they're super quick. So
Yeah.
let's go move on. Short number four. I'm not crazy, people, but in the timeline, technically, short number four takes place before short number three. So it's like
three is the last one. Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then back to 3. Leave it up to Star Wars to do funky stuff with the numbers, right? Like we go out of order and it's okay. This one is called Nubs and the Flower Fiasco. It is also, 232 BBY, like we said, all came out on the same day, phase 1. And, each of these shorts kind of gives us a little brief introduction to each character. And so Nubs loves plants. That's a big thing. He's big with nature. He's big with plants. And this one was about how, there's this flower he's trying to get to. But I thought it was hilarious. Like he basically gets
freaking funny. It was very Looney Tune-ish.
He gets flipped up in the air by a tree branch.
Yeah.
And is flying in the air. Feels like he's going to go crazy. And then he's like, oh, there's a bird, like this like flying creature.
It's the same bird that launched him, basically.
Yes. And he tries to connect with it. And so he like force pulls himself onto the bird thinking, oh, we're going to fly down. But Brian, tell me, does the bird want him on its back at first?
No, it's not really after. It's not wanting him on it at all. It's more attracted to shiny things, So he activates his lightsaber at one point, and it's just like trying to bend over and like get him up in his feet. And it's looking at his lightsaber. And Liz, who happens to be right there when she sees all this, says, like shiny stuff, it's your lightsaber, turn it off. And so he's able to kind of gain control of it, and then uses it like a carrot on a stick to get the bird to fly back over to the branch he was on to get the flower that he was after.
And those are like the reins. It's just like,
yeah.
And he's making that noise. He's like,
That's so good. That's so perfect. That's awesome,
dude. I'm actually Nubs' voice actor. That's like my part-time job. Yes.
Oh man,
yes. It doesn't pay well, clearly, because I'm still having to teach on the side, I guess. But I do what I can for the Star Wars community. Like that's what I can do. Oh man. And so let's move on. Shorts number 5 here is called Nash's Firehawk Frenzy. Now, this is our first introduction to Nash Durango and her droid E3, because we briefly meet them, at the very beginning when they fly in real quick and help them, set off the training droid in the first short. But here, Nash's droid kind of gets lost, and it's floating on this rock down the river, and it looks like it's going to go down the waterfall. And she calls in, Kai, her good friend Kai Brightstar, for help. And let me get a quick drink here. Kai is training with Master Yoda. Every youngling's, dream scenario here, training with Yoda. And it was kind of a callback to Empire Strikes Back, because he's trying to lift this rock and he's unable to lift it. And he's like, it's just too big. And Yoda's like, you must believe in the Force, and then also believe in yourself, basically. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was like a really good, hold on a second. Are you going to be able to like cut this?
Yeah.
You pause it?
Yeah.
Pause it for a second.
Oh, here, I can pause it. Yeah. No problem.
So then moving on to short number 5, Nash's Firehawk Frenzy. This one honestly felt like a straight callback to Empire Strikes Back. So they meet Tabor. We meet Tabor and his crew. Tabor is this pirate in the Outer Rim. He's, this kid pirate that's, stealing from the villagers and, trying to steal from the Jedi. And he's basically trying to, hurt them and shoot them down and fire at them. And Nash is like, we'll lose him in the asteroid belt. And they actually play like the music from Empire, like with the asteroids and everything. And they're chasing through. And then there's like a space slug that's about to eat them. And they have to like fly through the teeth of the space slug and get out. And it goes back in the asteroid. It felt like perfect. Like it was just a fun little like 2-minute callback to Empire. And
that's what it was.
It's just, that was put in there for the parents that are having to sit there and watch like the show.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Like with their little kids. And they're like, they can sit there and be like, oh, Empire. Yes.
And then when those kids get to the point where they're watching the original Star Wars movies, they're like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
remember that from when I was a kid." And
Yeah, they're
that,
instead of
And
like,
so
oh, that's Empire, they're gonna be like, oh, yes, the Empire is a callback
Han
to
learned that from
episode.
the Jedi. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
Han, they stole this from Young Jedi Adventures.
That's what it'll.
Some
That's what it'll
12-year-old's
be.
gonna say that,
Oh,
and so they do that, but it was really cool because they actually are delivering a Jedi holocron back to the temple on Tanu, and Tabor's trying to steal the holocron.
yeah.
And it was like, is this the earliest, like this would be the earliest in the timeline we've seen a Jedi holocron on our screen, which is kind of
Right.
fun. And when they crash land, because Nash ultimately gets hit, she crash lands on the planet. And it's funny, she gets hit right after she says, I'm the best pilot in the Outer Rim.
Of course.
And then she
Yeah.
gets hit and she crash lands and she's like, oh, not my best landing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, anyone who's played like the Battlefronts, the EA
You-
Battlefront 1,
yeah.
where they do the survival modes and it's like Tatooine, oh, not my best landing. Definitely ironic. Like, it's not intended to be like that, but if anyone that's played those survival modes a lot, they say that like twice in those survival modes, and so it's just ingrained in your DNA when you were
Right.
going through trying to survive those ATSTs on Tatooine for a while.
Yeah.
I love those survival mode games. Anyway, those were so fun. During COVID, my roommate and I were like, let's go through on master mode. We're going to go through all the survival modes from like the different planets. And
Man.
it was, they're so much fun. The
I like-
hardest one was
I like-
indoor.
Oh yeah, I loved Ewok Hunt. Are you talking about the original Battlefronts?
No. I'm talking
new
about
one?
the
Okay, yeah.
like 2015 like EA
yeah.
Battlefront.
I remember Battlefront 2 had Ewok Hunt, and that was
Mhm.
so fun.
Like
Anyway,
we
sorry, I
would
didn't
just
mean
do
to cut you
those.
off.
Yeah, no, we would do those like survival modes with, you have 15 waves of troops and you got to survive each one. And the hardest one was like indoor. I remember one time we're on like wave like 15 and we have no hearts left, and we're like, we put 40 minutes into this, we have like no lives left, we're trying to survive. My roommate like dies and I'm the only one left, and I'm on this turret and I'm like, oh yes. But then they like, those shadow troopers where they would launch those like the blinding, like the blinding and deafening like grenade or whatever. And I have like no life left. And so when you have no life and you can't see and you're surrounded by troopers, you just start sprinting and jumping up and down, like going all over the place and spinning and firing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I have like literally like one shot and they're like shooting. I'm like jumping up and down and we're like screaming, oh. And then I somehow survive and like get out and stumbled into a thermal detonator. I throw it behind me, blow them all up, and we win. And it was like this delayed reaction. We were like, oh, we did it! We did it!
Oh!
It was like, oh, let's go. Anyway, all that to say, not my best landing. Strikes a chord. Strikes like a heart, like wrenching, gut wrenching moment of trying to fight on the survival mode. Anyway, to short number 6.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's keep on moving.
Tabor's Pirate Showdown. Now, this one was pretty fun because you get Tabor and he is coming in. He steals like carts of food from the Jedi or from the villagers on Tanu. And of course, Kai is like, we're going to stop you, Tabor.
Right.
And Tabor says, like, I'd like to see you try, Jedi.
He's a snarky little guy, isn't he?
Oh, he's a little tool bag of a kid.
He is. He's a little nutsack, is what he is.
He's got like Pord, who's like his young Gamorrean sidekick.
Yeah.
I think he's like Gamorrean and like these droid, and they're like so clumsy. Like they mess everything up all the time. They're pretty funny.
He's basically, forgive me for doing the Harry Potter analogy again, he's basically Malfoy with Crab and Goyle. It's basically
really
what he is. That's exactly what he is. It's the best analogy I can think of. It's the best simile I can think of.
That's so good. That's so true. And we actually get like Tabor with his he has this like electro staff and he's fighting Kai with his trading saber, and then they're trying to try to use the Force and to steal the cart back.
Yeah.
And it was just pretty funny. They get the cart back and they get it into Tabor's ship, and they're like, we did it. And all that, Draco's minions, Tabor's minions, all that Pord and Ita,
all the Slytherins,
all that Crab and Goyle had to do was close the doors, and they were like fumbling around closing the doors. So the Jedi come in and just use the Force and take that cart back, and they have to go back, and they're like, Tabor, we lost the cart. The Jedi got the cart back. And Tabor's like,
droid.
what? You imbeciles. And it was just How annoying would it be though
Oh
to
my
be
God.
enemies with a Jedi and
Yeah.
know they're like, oh, I got this, and then you just look back and it's like they force grabbed that
You have the
away.
dumbest droid ever. Like, no, I really like that droid though. Honestly, I like the
He's
design
funny.
of him. He's very funny. Yeah, he's great.
It's good. Yeah. So we introduced Tabor. I love that analogy. Draco and Crab and Goyle.
That's so perfect.
It's so
That's
good.
the only thing I can think of.
And I love how in like the Harry Potter movies, when I think it's like Crab, the actor for Crab, like changes and it goes from like the chubby white kid to like a black guy, I think, like for like
Yeah, they
3
recast
movies,
him,
and then it like changes back at the end, and it's different,
it's
and
wild.
but it's
It's
like there's
absolutely
never
wild.
like no explanation.
Yeah,
or,
nothing.
like in the movie, it never even. I don't even think they mentioned his name anymore. But
Yeah.
he's just one of the
Well,
two guys.
there
that's
was another
following him
character
around.
too that was originally played by a black girl who ended up having a bigger part in one of the other movies, and they got a white blonde girl to play her. It's
And
like,
it's like, what are we doing?
What is happening? What kind of magic is going on at this freaking school? Like,
Like this is a little messed up, guys. It's funny how they just like threw that in there for the side characters, and it's like no one's gonna really care. And then you're like watching, and I'm like, who is this
Wait a
guy?
second,
Where
who is
did you
that
come
guy?
from? Oh man.
He was drinking polyjuice potions. What he was doing.
He had a full-on gallon of polyjuice potion to start the year.
Anyway,
Join us on the Timeline Show every week where we talk about
Hey, we got
Star
one more.
Wars and Harry Potter joining together, of course. I was just doing a little,
Oh, okay.
I was just committing to the bit a little bit.
Gotcha.
So the last one, short number 3,
For some
which is
reason.
our last one, going backwards now, is called Revenge of the Sith. This is called Kai's Daring Droid Rescue, and this one is my favorite. This one's my favorite,
Yeah.
even though we had the Empire callback, and it's my favorite because of something that I think is just really hilarious. And I'm not bagging on the show at all, because it's toddler, like little kid show. Like it's like it's for younglings. It's for the
Right.
4s and 5s, like pre-K, kindergarten,
Right.
whatever. But this is so funny. So RJ Nash loses her droid RJ. The droid, it's on this little rock. It's about to float over this waterfall down the river. Kai's training with Yoda. There's like a brief little Yoda Luke parallel where Kai's trying to lift this big rock, and Yoda's like, and he says it's too big, he can't do it. And Yoda's like, you have to trust in yourself and trust in the Force. So Nash calls for help, and Kai runs off on the speeder to help her, because Yoda's like, you must always trust. You must always, help those in need. That's what a Jedi does, So they're going on the speeder, and they ultimately can't save the droid, and it looks like it's going to go over this waterfall. And so Kai, this is so good. You're going to laugh. So Kai, we're going to laugh when I point this out. So Kai says, all right, you run over there across that ledge. I'm going to lift this giant log, and I'm going to set this giant log in front of the waterfall, hold it in place so the rock will hit the log, and you can run across the log to grab RJ and get back. And the whole time I'm thinking, yes, the point of the story, trust in the Force, trust in himself. He can lift the giant tree in log and put it there. But it's so funny where it's like, he's doing all this stuff, and it's like, just force grab RJ.
Yeah.
Like, just force grab the droid and put it back. And this kid's like, all right, oh, this is the droid. Oh, we got to do this. Okay, I'm going to grab that tree. I'm going to move that tree, hold it on the waterfall. My friend's going to run across
harder
this.
Than it has to be.
It's just like a classic kid, like, oh, I see I have to get from point A to point B. I'm going to run 80 sprint steps side to side in order to get to point B. But it was funny. I felt bad laughing, because I'm like, okay, that's not the point that they're trying to make. But like, it's like, as an adult, it's like I'm laughing watching like him lift this freaking tree. And I'm like, you could have just grabbed the 1 pound droid.
Right.
It's like when I'm explaining to a kid, I'm like at school, and I'm like, all right, so your figurative language here, like, a simile is you're comparing things using like or as. So what are you going to identify here? And they're like, well, I'm going to compare this to that. It's like, well, what words do you need in order to do that? Well, I might start with the, and then I'm like, no, like, to make it a simile, like, you need what words? He's like, the plant will be, and then he's like, ultimately, I'm like, dude, I just want you to tell me like or as. That's all I need you to do is tell me. And it's like, we're just making this so hard, like we're jumping through all these hoops, and I'm like, Yeah, we got the lesson, like, but practice makes perfect, Kai. Practice makes perfect. Trust in yourself, trust in the force, and trust in the fact that we are done with these shorts.
Yeah, we are.
We did it.
We did it.
All right. 6 shorts, Young Jedi Adventures. Next time, we're going to be starting the first 2 episodes. We'll break these down into chunks and get through this show. And then we'll get back into the books. So we're going to take a little break from books, and then we're going to do this show. It'll be like kind of a nice little change up because the first book we're talking about goes hard. So
it does. It so does.
It goes pretty hard. So it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. You can check the timeline show out every Monday is when the new episode drops. You can always check Brian out here talking about the next episode, the next show, the next movie, the next book, whatever that comes in the timeline. We are here covering all canon events. Join us on Thursdays at 10 Eastern for Star Wars Newsnet Live. And always stay tuned to the channel for other shorts, little videos, and fun discussions that we have moving forward. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more fun Star Wars stuff like this. You can see us and follow us on YouTube. YouTube. You're on YouTube already. Spotify and Apple. Give us a 5-star review. Even though, I just fumbled the bag there. Still give us the 5-star review.
I fumbled the placard on another episode, so, it happens.
Shh, we forgot about that. They forgot about that. They're here a lot.
You guys didn't hear anything.
These aren't the thumbnails you're looking for.
You're in the background using the force. It's like
that was good.
That little rumble. That little
good.
rumble.
That was good. They could hire you as a audio drama
as the
sound
force,
effect guy.
the voice actor for the force.
Yes. What Ryan? What's your job? I'm the voice actor. Oh, you're a voice actor for what? The Force.
I'm the Force. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I love it.
For light and life, everyone. Until next time.